I just wanted to think out loud for a minute and tell you about some of the things that I couldn't get into in this week's podcast. So I did link that below if you want to check out the Peru Sisters podcast. We focused on DNA this week. I'm going to start by talking about something that was discussed in Kluminati's live stream several days ago, and it was about the vehicle nav system, which we've talked about in pretty much in depth on this channel, but this was a really acute observation I wanted to share with you. The thing is that according to Kluminati's channel, the research she's done shows that this vehicle was purchased off of a rental car lot. Kluminati brings up that the research on the car is such that the car, in general, those types of cars are the base model and they don't typically have any add-ons. But they also made another observation that really resonated with me, was that when on the second stop, when they pulled BK over on his way back to Pennsylvania, you can see footage from the officer's body cam that Bryan's father actually has a map and a cell phone on his lap navigating. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, he couldn't have just been doing that on the side, and it's actually not a bad idea to have a hard copy of your directions, but I don't think he'd have his cell phone out using the cell phone nav apparently along with the map. So I think in general we can pretty much rest assured that there was no nav system. So I think that kind of clears up the debate whether there was a vehicle nav system. Okay, so then the second thing that I really wanted to talk to you about was this multi-perp theory that's going around. There are so many aspects to this, why people think that there were multiple perps, but someone close to me brought up a really legitimate argument that I wanted to pose to you. What he said was, DM witnessed a man clad in black go out the back slider door, but then BF witnessed a man naked running out the front of the house past her window, the complete opposite sides of the house. So that's 1 and 2 perps right there. I don't know. I think there is sort of a counter argument to that, which is that what if the man clad in black came out the glass slider door, shed down his clothing, put it in his kill kit, like Steve quoted, the kill kit, and then ran naked around the house out the front. So I think that could be one person just covering his DNA tracks, which we know this was somebody who knew what they were doing as far as containing their DNA. So I just want to the people who are in the multi-perp theory, I wanted to pose that to you just to discuss. I'd like for you to comment below. If you believe in this multi-perp theory, I'd love for you to comment below and let me know if that sounds reasonable to you or if there's a hole in that explanation. So next I wanted to talk about the death penalty. BK is facing the death penalty. Not only that, he's facing a firing squad, and which is kind of difficult when you think of this multi-perp theory, because I mean, honestly, as my co-producer Gia on the show Peru Sisters quite often will say, nobody's going to fall on a sword for somebody else, you know? So you would think if there are multi-perps, somebody would have talked by now, but I digress. When it comes to the death penalty, in order for that to be implicated, you would have to have an entire jury unanimously decide on that. How are they going to get a jury to decide on that is what I would say. Is you have a set of 8 people involved in this, the victim's parents, that can't even agree on this subject, and they were all involved. I mean, Xana's mother's on the record saying she's against the death penalty. We have Kaylee's mother and father on the record saying they're for it. We have Ethan's mother saying they're not commenting on it. We have, and I don't know what Madison's father's position is, but right there we have people that can't agree on it, and they were impacted the most. So it's hard to say that a jury could unanimously decide on that. So just another subject I wanted to bring up. So, you know, and then I think the last thing I want to do is I put together a theory at 911 call In my podcast, I've been going through different things about the 911 call, and I have come up with a theory on how I think the 911 call proceeded that morning. I think that DM got up for whatever reason. She was needed to get in to check on Ethan and Xana. It could have been a number of reasons what made her immediately want to get in that door. It could have been something from, it could have been BLOOD coming from under the door. It could have been them not answering, who knows. But she called Ethan's fraternity brother, HJ, to come over. He likely broke through that door because we understand that that door had an auto lock on it per Xana's father, although that has not been completely verified yet. He likely broke in with a crowbar, saw Ethan. We know he took his pulse. He called out for DM to call 911. When the 911 dispatch got the call, from what we understand, according to News Nation, it is standard policy for them to put it is a unconscious person when things are confusing. So they said it was an unconscious person. The cop came to the scene from this very early press conference. I was watching it on Huda London's channel. She had this like early press conference from a long time ago. So, and it was interesting because you hear the chief saying right off the bat that when the cop initially showed up, he still thought it was an unconscious person. And the rumors that I heard is once the cop got there, he said, "Where's the unconscious person?" And there was a ton of college students outside the door. I heard close to 20, but I don't know. I don't know that as a fact. And all they said was dead. And they pointed towards the front door. And then the cop went in, and that's when he discovered the body. So that's my theory on the 911 call. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in and to listen to my opinion. If you'd like to watch the podcast that inspired this video, I've linked it below. And justice for the IDAHO4 and justice for the 4. Rocco says thank you for watching.